Shipping culture, the good, the bad, and the ugly. What is shipping, you may ask? Well, what world do you live on? Everybody ships everything with everything in this world, honestly. Shipping is something that's pretty straightforward. It's when you go out, you put a package in a box, and you send it out to one of your friends, right? No, we are talking about shipping two people together in a relationship, unbeknownst to them sometimes, honestly. That's kind of how it is sometimes. They don't even know that they're shipped together. And like most things in life, shipping isn't always a bad thing. It can be a way for people to express themselves, especially when it comes to like fictional characters. It's a really good way to express yourself and your identity and find places and people and relationships that may not directly impact you or may not be directly represented by other things in different forms of media. So shipping can really be a way to express that. And I think that's a great thing. Shipping can also be a really bad thing when you're taking it to like real life, which happens, obviously. Real life, two people may have nothing to do with each other, and people ship them together and make it seem like it's a reality for a person that's literally a real life person. Like I just said, it doesn't. They're real life. You're telling them they're in a relationship or telling other people, spreading rumors and lies about people that's just not necessarily true. Obviously, that's a really bad thing to do. You don't want to do that. You don't want to pressure people into other situations. And something that this could result in is a real life person having to like acknowledge and talk about rumors about something that may be so far from the truth, or it could be pretty close to the truth. But that's not for us to decide as like a society, right? Let's talk about the good first, because there is a lot of good things, in my opinion, that comes from shipping. And up first, we're going to talk about within the anime community, because I see a lot of that based off my YouTube channel, TikToks, and things like that, talking about shipping of different anime characters, which they're fictional characters. Really, no harm in that kind of thing, right? And I think that's great because in a lot of times there's certain relationships, queer relationships, that aren't represented in some animes. There are several animes that are great about displaying queer relationships, but in the mainstream, your big ones, My Hero Academia, Naruto, Jujutsu Kaisen, all those kind of animes, you may not have a character that specifically represents someone that you feel like. And where I see, especially in the My Hero Academia community, people shipping, male characters together, which is a great thing. I'm a queer non-binary person. I don't see super many characters in My Hero Academia that I feel represent like me, right? So what you do is, me for example, I'm like, hey, I feel like Deku would be non-binary. It'd definitely be supportive, but as a headcanon, my certain things, Deku's non-binary, right? And I don't think that's problematic in any way. I'm not, going out and being like, hey, Horikoshi, Deku's non-binary. I'm going now. When you start sending threats to like the creators of these mangas and these TV shows and series and things like that, that's when it's getting out of hand, because obviously it is all your opinion, and forcing that onto others is not what you want to do, right? But I see nothing wrong with someone being like, hey, this is how I feel represented as a person. This person really feels a lot like me and a lot of characteristics. I'm gonna identify in certain ways with this character, and I think that's a great thing to do, especially when you're part of a group that's not represented well. And that could be within race, that could be within sexuality, religion, all these kind of things that may not be represented in certain mainstream forms of media, anime, TV shows, things like that. It's great that you can find a place that you feel safe and comfortable to identify with. And I think that's where a lot of the shipping comes from in My Hero Academia, which I'm personally not a shipper. Like I just, let the story unfold kind of thing. But then again, you look at me, I'm like, hey, I think Deku's like non-binary. That's a headcanon for me, and that's what I believe, and it helps me identify and helps me see like parts of myself in a character, and one of my favorite things, right? I think that's wonderful. And I think within fictional realms, like in media, things like that, I don't think that's a terrible thing to do. Where I think the problem then comes into place is when you're shipping real life people and putting those standards on actual people. And for example, when Kid Connor having to come out and address sexuality in certain ways, that's you don't want to do that to somebody. Make someone else address their sexuality when it's your journey. It's not anyone else's journey. And I think a lot of times when it comes to people saying, hey, queer baiting and things like this, well, Kid Connor trying to discover and figure out who they are as a person, then putting other things on it. Hey, this person's queer baiting this way. Well, no, this person is trying to find who they are. Can we give people a chance to do that? And that's where I think the shipping, like, hey, I ship this person in real life, that can be a problem. You don't want to just necessarily ship people that, maybe have no interest in being shipped together in the first place, and putting those standards on them. Now, it's okay to have like your fandoms, obviously, be like, I'm in the Swiftie community, so I know a lot of the shippings and that. I'm not going to personally talk about, Taylor shipping and things like that. except for right now because Taylor Swift is at a Kansas City Chief game, rooting on Travis Kelce, and that's a ship that I support. So yeah. But when it comes to certain forms of media, I think it's really important to realize, hey, this person may see certain parts of themselves in this character and let them do that. That's no need for a lot of the people that I see, especially coming at people in the My Hero Academia fandom, coming at people, oh, no, Deku's straight. It comes from a very malicious place of, look, no, gay's bad, queer's bad. When I see the Deku straight, I immediately get like offended, not in the sense that, okay, I don't care if Deku's straight or not. I don't care if Deku shipped Rock. I don't care about any of that. I care about people who are homophobic and coming in and trying to say how a fandom should be run based on their personal beliefs. Hey, Kachan, I think I like you. Boo! That's gay, dude. Okay, Uraraka, I think I like you. No, that's too obvious. I'm gonna send threats to the creator. Wait, what? I just don't see any problem in people choosing to identify with certain aspects of a character, even though it's not confirmed within like the realm or the media that you're watching, like or reading or whatever that may be. There's nothing wrong with a person taking and being like, hey, this is my opinion on this character. But where I can see it goes too far is when, hey, there's certain people who believe on my side, like, let people ship whoever they want, that kind of thing. I believe in that. But when somebody ships something that you don't agree with, or maybe the creator does something that you don't agree with and goes with the most basic vanilla relationship ever, just super basic, like Deku and Uraraka, for example. Super basic, right? But if the creator does that, that's the route they choose to take. I'm not gonna then send threats to the creator and cause them a super like massive amounts of like stress and that kind of thing. Like that's not what you want to do either. That's not the way to go about it. Let people choose to identify with certain ways and let's move forward as a community supporting what other people believe. Like that's really important. I mean, as long as your beliefs aren't, harming other people in certain groups, right? Yeah, let's not do that. As I mentioned earlier, I'm a big part of the Swiftie fan. I love Taylor Swift. I grew up with Taylor Swift. I've been to the Eras tour, got my friendship bracelets, right? I mean, obviously. But even within the Swifties, like, we have, Gaylors, all this, there's different things that like, hey, this is how Taylor is when we don't know that. We don't know, we can see queer coded messages and that's great. And we can take that, but let's not put those expectations on real life people like Taylor, let Taylor live her life. And date Travis Kelce because I approve. I really appreciate what shipping does in fictional fandoms and helping people represent and identify with characters that other people may not see these kind of things. Specifically, let's going into like Across the Spider-Verse and about Gwen Stacy potentially being a trans character. I run with that. I love it. I mean, why would Gwen's dad have the trans flag on? It's got the trans colors all in Gwen's world. It's in so much of her story. And there are so many YouTubers that have made some really just amazing emotional videos talking about how Gwen's story relates to the trans non-binary experience and how you feel just fitting in a body in a world and a society that you don't feel like you fit in. And I mean, there's just so many emotional parts in that movie that I see and I'm like, yeah, Gwen's trans. I mean, as a non-binary person, I'm like, support. I love this. Let's move forward with this. But then there's so much hate and like vitriol that goes towards people that believe those kind of things and believe that and see that part of themselves. And telling a trans story within that realm, I think it's absolutely beautiful. And I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna that's my thoughts, that's my beliefs. And obviously if that's confirmed, the alternatives confirmed by the creator, I'm gonna go with that. I'm not gonna send threats, that kind of thing, because the message I get from the story is what it means to me. And I personally think that's the most important thing. What you take from a character and what you take from a story, help that build you in your ways. And even if that's something completely different than what someone else believes and someone else thinks, it doesn't change what it means to you. And that's the most important thing, right? So pretty much what I'm saying is just, ship healthily, and if you're shipping real life people, don't put those pressures on them and that kind of thing, because that's not great, because they have lives too, right? But fictionally, I mean, come on, ship it up, as long as that's obviously like legal, consensual, of age, kind of that kind of stuff. Don't be, like an MHA teacher's a student. No, we don't do that. Not at all. No. Pretty much what I'm saying is have fun and ship healthily, and Taylor, I approve of Travis Kelce, turn up. So that's pretty much it for today. Let me know what you think about shipping. Is that something that you do on a regular basis? Have you identified with a character that, maybe somebody else didn't see those things in? Thank you so much for supporting me, and huge announcement, I am a guest at Anime NYC, so super exciting. If you're going to be there, I would love to meet you. Say hello. Hi, it's me. Hi, I'm the problem. It's me. I would love to see you there. It's really exciting. I can't wait to do it. It's in New York, which is my favorite city. So yeah, if you see me, say hi. But as always, thank you for existing. Thank you for being who you are, and I'll see you next time. Go Beyond Plus Ultra. Sorry for your ears.